post-haste, but for the moment, let's have a look at some exclusive gameplay footage, or gameplay rather, of Killzone Shadow Fall. So you guys showed some gameplay at the PlayStation meeting, as it were, back in February.
Yes.
You showed quite a lot there. You also showed some yesterday at the E3 conference. Going into Killzone Shadow Fall, this is the, you guys have been around since the PlayStation 2 era. It's been a massive franchise for the Sony. There are some visual differences here between what we were used to, I guess, with Killzone 2 and 3. What's been the focus going into Killzone Shadow Fall?
So it's definitely a fresh look. I think with the arrival of the PlayStation 4, it was a great moment for us to take a look at everything. And that's the first thing you think next gen is, the fidelity, the new look. But I think what we're showing here today is a focus all on gameplay. You have a new story, a new conflict now. It's very much it's Cold War inspired gameplay. So the Helghast and the ISA live side by side now. They're separated by a vast wall, but that also asks for a new player character. So we're now a Shadow Marshal, and a Shadow Marshal it's the best of the best. It's kind of a one-man SEAL Team 6. So he's sent in there when there's kind of a last resort. And this guy, look at this, we have this owl that really enables a lot of his abilities here. He just ziplined. That's one of the things he can do. So you can use your touchpad to control the various abilities. You use your tactical echo to see your enemies behind cover. And it's a great, in attack mode, it draws fire from your enemies, so you can flank them and take them out. So it's just one example of the new abilities in Killzone Shadow Fall.
Just looking at this, it looks like more, not to try and box games into one category or another, but there are elements here that look a bit more open world, or maybe not open world, but open environments for battle than maybe we were used to in Killzone 2 and 3.
And I think that's, I'm happy you say that. It's one of the focal points we wanted, and next gen PlayStation 4 enables us to not just focus on fidelity, but also have much larger scale environments. When you look at these objectives, you could have played it completely differently. You could have taken a different objective first, but now you go to the comms tower here, and in the setting of this level, you need to evacuate. To actually set you up a little bit, you've been called in to rescue a queue that have been stranded here, and they have intel that you're trying to retrieve. You're sort of clearing your path to evacuate, so you're killing the radar here, so you can safely get out. And the objectives can be played in a random order, so this map is really very flexible. And that is, I think it's an innovation in the Killzone franchise that I'm really happy with. It allows for a lot more variety, so every playthrough literally will be very, very different. You're going to encounter a lot of great moments that are going to be wonderful to share.
One of the most, I think, it's one of the most divisive areas of Killzone historically has been the way the character moves around. Some people think that maybe it's a bit too weighty because they're used to playing other games. I was part of the pack that actually really appreciated the feel of the character because I felt like you were really that person. So going into the Killzone Shadow Fall, have you guys altered that at all? Has it got the same kind of weighty feel to it, or is it a bit snappier?
It is. It's both. It's the combat and these kind of the controls of your character need to be visceral, and it's going to stay that way. It needs to have that weight to it, and at the same time, all the controls and everything have been optimized, so it's also snappier. It's not either or.
The first-person shooter space at the moment, it's getting pretty packed again. I guess there's always been the sort of I don't want to say lower tier, but there's been a first-person shooters that maybe weren't in the same realm as your Killzones, your Call of Duties, and your Battlefield. Now we've got stuff like Titanfall, we've Destiny. That whole space seems to be the sort of AAA first-person shooter realm. Seems to be getting quite busy, shall we say, quite populated. How do Guerrilla Games feel about that, since you guys have been at the forefront of it for, I guess, around a decade now at this stage? Does it concern you? Do you look at those guys and say, that's a good idea, maybe we might incorporate it? What do you kind of see at the moment?
So first off, as gamers, we love these kind of games that come out. Like, we're going to play all of those. But also a lot of the inspiration that we take comes actually from within the franchise. So the Shadow Marshal was inspired by Lucar. Lucar, a character in Killzone 1. She was a Shadow Marshal. So we often take inspiration from within the franchise. But mostly with this game, we're doing our own thing. Whereas in the past, it was much more kind of like a roller coaster. Now it's much more like an amusement park where you get to pick your own rides, get to determine, you determine the pace of the combat with all these new abilities that you've got. And so we're not really looking so much at what other people are doing. We're kind of looking at what the PlayStation 4 allows us to do. We were talking earlier about the more open environments allowing for more free-flowing combat, but also having more AI on the screen, having many more options. So we really kind of look at what we're doing rather than just trying to predict what other people are going to do.
Because of the sort of the relatively new aesthetic that we're seeing here, and obviously in terms of gameplay, you guys are wandering away from your comfort zone in terms of what Killzone is. Was there ever a desire to maybe step away from the Killzone as a franchise? Are you guys still set in that universe? Or was this the sort of thing where there was pressure from Sony to make sure that there was a new Killzone game?
Yeah, Sony's great. Sony gives their studios a lot of freedom in making these kind of decisions. We love Killzone, and we have a lot of people that came to work specifically at Guerrilla to work on Killzone. And we're not deviating so much. It's definitely a new look, a new gameplay style. But further on in the game, you're definitely going to recognize a lot of what people loved about the franchise. And at the same time, at Guerrilla, we're also working on a new IP in parallel to this project, right? So we're getting that fix while we're doing what we love to do, and that's developing Killzone.
We've probably only got a couple of minutes of this exclusive footage left, so let's just concentrate on that for the moment. I'm sure we've got plenty of questions. So what's happening here at this stage? A couple of people are tweeting, wondering what's going on with this little gentleman that's following you around.
Yeah, so we have the Owl, right? And this is your very personalized robotic attack drone. It's your attack drone, and it's got abilities that let you stun enemies, can put it in attack mode, and it fires at nearby enemies. It zip lines, what you see on the screen right here, so that's free form. You can go anywhere in the level, to a certain distance, of course.
How long?
For how long?
Yeah.
I think it's about 50 meters, actually.
All right, that's pretty good.
So I'm not sure if you're going to zip line, because
Can you zip line down as well? Up?
Not up, no. So we adhere to the laws of gravity there, right? So you've got a stun, you've got a shield as well. So you just put it in stun mode now. You see the effects on the guys. And this is adrenaline mode. So you can use one of your health packs to go into a short period of slow motion.
Okay.
That really helps you get out of a hairy situation when you're outnumbered. So this game is very much not only about outgunning enemies, but also about outsmarting and outmaneuvering enemies. So in that sense, it's just as much about skill as it is about using your brains. It's a much more intelligent game.
Squad play was a big part of the Killzone franchise as well. Are you a lone gunner in this? Do you have a squad that you work alongside or with?
So actually one of your objectives is to retrieve the intel from your stranded crew. So you're going to be meeting them shortly. And they will later on in this level fight alongside you. But of course you also have the Owl now, which very much is your companion. So you've got both.
We were talking before about how this is you've had so many games in the franchise. It's kind of a new look. It looks fresh.